Robot mowers have been on the marketplace for a while. They used to be really irritating to set up. You had to dig a trench around your property and bury wires to guide the mowers. It was a nightmare. Then they came out with a new system to replace the guide wire system called RTK. But I'm here to tell you, it can be just as irritating. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And so you might spend thousands of dollars on a mower that you can't even use. This mower promises to solve it, and we're going to find out if it does. So this is the Mammotion Luba 3 all-wheel drive. I think I said all those words right. It does not use RTK like other mowers does. It uses a thing called NRTK. See, they added a letter so you know it's better. We're going to get into why RTK kind of stinks. I'm going to explain that. And then we're going to take a look at this thing, set it up, and see if this new NRTK actually solves a problem or if it just creates new ones. So this right here is the biggest blessing and biggest curse for robot mowers. And it's what makes robot mowers completely unusable for many people. This is called an RTK antenna. See, if you have a robot mower, by and large, you're going to have an RTK antenna. It needs to be up and away from everything. It can't be up against buildings. It can't be under trees. It can't be under the eaves of your house. It has to have a clear view of the sky. So if there's houses that are packed too tightly together or trees that are packed too tightly together, this antenna won't get a signal. In addition, your mower also needs to have a clear view of the sky. If it doesn't, it just won't work. So here's a good example of what I'm talking about. So RTK antenna, I have to have it way out away from the house so it's not under the eaves. Even then, it's got a very poor signal. Same thing with the mower. The base station and the mower have to be out and away from the house. They can't be near it. They can't be under it. So we've got wires hanging out everywhere. You got to really jump through some hoops sometimes to set these up, which is fine if you like fiddling with stuff. But what if you don't have this option? What if you can't have everything out in the open like this? What are you going to do? Mammotion says they've solved that. The first thing they've done is eliminate the need for this antenna. They use a system called NRTK or Net RTK. So we don't have to have an antenna anymore up on top of a roof or wherever you have to have it. You just have to have the machine with either a Wi-Fi or you can use its built-in 4G module. We'll talk about that. If you do lose signal because you drove under trees or you drove under the eaves of a house or you're going between buildings that are really tightly packed together, it uses LiDAR, 3D space-aged mapping, and dual vision on the front of the machine to identify where it's at and continue on its path. I am gobsmacked at how LiDAR works. We won't get into it, but by using LiDAR plus RTK plus vision, we're in the stinking future with this thing. I'm really excited to try it out. Now, while the NRTK is free for life, you do need to either supply your own Wi-Fi connection or you can use the mower's built-in 4G module. Now, that's free for 3 years. After that, there would be a fee, but like I said, you have a choice. Mammotion does give you 3 years of free service with this thing, but I want to see if I can get it to depend 100% on the Wi-Fi I've set up on the property. I did another video of that where I covered the property in Wi-Fi, but there's a couple spots where the Wi-Fi signal's pretty weak. So what's going to happen to this thing if we drop Wi-Fi, if we're driving into trees or between buildings, and we're not getting the RTK signal, and it's only using its built-in LiDAR to guide itself, and vision, the cameras on the front to guide itself? I don't know, but that's what I want to find out. So without further ado, let's look the machine over. Let's go try this thing out. Let's just see how it does mowing this place, because this place is challenging for a robot mower, and it's really going to put it to the test. All right, so let's get a good hard look at this thing. So first of all, I've looked at a bunch of these robot mowers. This one is built like very well. It's quite sleek, but when you grab it, you don't feel things bending and moving. There's a little handle under here. I can say when you lift this thing up, this handle, it's a little slick. This is like really nice, good quality, slick plastic, probably really easy to clean. Little orange bumper here. Rear tires, pretty knobby paddle tires. This is an all-wheel drive machine. And these aren't plastic. The plastic ones, I don't know, I don't like the plastic ones. These ones are rubber and they're replaceable. There's some kind of array on the back here. I don't know what that is. This is a key. You can remove this if you're going to leave this thing outside when you're not around. You can just straight remove that. That's nice. It backs into the charging port right there. At least I think it does. I haven't charged this thing yet. On the top, big red stop button, some control buttons. You'll notice that there's not like a big control screen here. There are different sequences of buttons you can push. They give you a guide for that, but you're going to use your cell phone to control this thing. You're not going to need it. But you're not supposed to cover this area because this is where the satellite thing is. This is just a stinking sweet looking machine. So now how this thing turns is like a zero turn, where one of the back wheels, I think, I haven't seen it do it yet, will stop, because these do not turn side to side. They rotate sideways on these spinners. So one back wheel will propel the machine forward, the other one will stop or maybe move backwards, and that's how it's moving, like a zero-turn mower. So that's kind of cool. So these are set. You don't have steering linkages that are going to break or something. Now let's try to flip this thing over without flipping it onto the onto the LiDAR. So here's under the carriage here. So lots of these razor blades. So these are consumable. They do give you some extra ones, and they're pretty cheap to buy. So this thing spins around and spins these razor blades. This is kind of just the standard setup for robot mowers now. It does a really nice job. You know, there's some on the market now that have blades. I've been testing one for a while that has regular like lawnmower blades. The benefit of these is they give a finer mulched cut. It does need to mow more often because you can't let the grass get super tall, but they do give a finer mulched cut. It leaves a nice healthy lawn, and they're really quiet. A bladed mower is much louder. So this thing running at night is probably way quieter than the one I'm using right now with blades on it, and I probably wouldn't mind having this thing run at night. We actually don't let the other one run at night because it goes by our bedroom, and it's kind of it's noisy. Not super noisy, but you can hear it at the dead of night. So anyway, that's what's going on underneath. Little thing there says don't pressure wash underneath. No problem. But yeah, boy, this thing means business. And look at this. They got little shocks here. Is that ridiculous or what? Little fenders here. I think this is for looks. That looks cool though. These are some serious shocks. Front bumper. This thing just, again, looks like an F1 race car. So 2 cameras on the front, a little light, LiDAR. This is really cool. Just soak this thing in. I will not be upset to look out the window and see this thing. A lot of these robot mowers, you look at them and they're just a big plastic blob kind of trundling around your lawn. I don't know, this thing looks cool. All-wheel drive though, I like that idea. With 4 wheels, no tracks. 4 wheels are going to be a little more gentle on your lawn, so if you're worried about that, a wheeled machine will do that. So I'm out here on the front side of the property. We're just putting in the spring garden beds. They got a little overgrown. Don't judge me. But I'm going to set it to mow between the rows. It needs to be pretty precise. If it's not, it'll start running over the garlic. It'll start running over flowers. And if I start running over flowers and garlic, my wife's going to run over me in the truck probably. Okay, so what I have to do is I'm going to walk around with the mower and basically paint lines around the property and tell it where it should mow and also where it should not mow. Now, I could just set this thing down. There's a setting on it where I could just set it down and tell it to auto map the property because it has this LiDAR, this 3D mapping technology, but I don't want to try that yet. I want this thing to be super accurate, so I'm going to tell it exactly where I want it to mow and not mow and see if the NRTK is truly accurate or if we're going to get some drift here and have the things mowing where it shouldn't be mowing. So this is a spot that I think is going to be really challenging to mow. So we're under a roof line, up against a wall, and we got some planter boxes here. So this thing better have just an incredible GPS signal to be able to get through here on its own. I really wouldn't expect it to do it, but I'm going to set it up and see if it will. All right, I'm going to let her rip and start mowing, and I'm going to get caught up on some stuff that I've really wanted to do instead of doing mowing every weekend. Okay, here's a big problem spot I was worried about. Right under the eaves of the house. Behind these planters that I just conveniently placed here. Just cruising, no problem. Not confused, knows right where it's at. This is working really, really well here. Okay, it's a beautiful spring day a week later. Normally I'd be out here mowing wet grass, having a terrible time, but the grass has all been mowed. Spoiler alert, it's all been mowed. Thanks to that little Luba. This thing's just awesome. Let's check out the thing I was worried about, which is the garden bed over here. See if it mowed it over. No, garlic is all there where it's supposed to be. Little flowers and stuff are all there where it's supposed to be. This dog who's been attacking me is still there where she's supposed to be. This thing kept its centimeter accuracy, mowing only in the places it was supposed to mow all week long. Awesome. It mowed under trees. It mowed next to the fence. The Wi-Fi is terrible out here. It did not care about the terrible Wi-Fi. It's doing an awesome job. The dog almost knocked me over. Go find your ball. Do not attack me. You don't want people to know how terrible you treat me. Good grief. Ow! Go get your ball. Anyway, I made every mistake possible when I was setting up this mower. One of the things you're supposed to do is go pre-mow, cut your grass down so it's to a reasonable level, ideally the level that your mower is going to be mowing at. This one is a high mow version. It'll mow up to, up to 4 inches of height. It'll mow down grass higher than that, I found out, but its set height that it's mowing to is up to 4 inches. I like that. I like longer grass. You can mow shorter grass too, but I like it being able to keep grass a little longer. So here's an area. Just to give you an example, it did mow around all these plants because I told it to. But you see how high the grass is over here versus over here. I mean, it's not super obvious, I guess, but it's obvious to me. It's really tall over here, not really tall over here. All the grass was this tall, and it mowed it down to 3.5 inches. Awesome. I didn't fill in a bunch of holes that you're supposed to do. It didn't care, it mowed anyway. I didn't take out all these molehills that you're supposed to take out. Yeah, get them, girl. I didn't knock all those down. It didn't care, it mowed anyway. And smartly, it mowed around all the molehills, which added a lot of time it needed to mow, but you don't want it mowing over molehills and getting full of muck and gunk where its blades are. So very smart, rolled around the molehills. There were some tall areas I left. Like this, look at this little clump I left. Just a very tall clump of weeds. The bumper would impact that and make it turn around. So even if the sensors on the front, something was obscuring them or whatever, or the cameras on the front were being obscured and it couldn't see that it was going to run into something, as soon as that bumper touches it, it'll make it back away. I like that. It could have mowed over those clumps, but they're so thick, they pushed in the bumper, it did the right thing, went around them. Other things you're supposed to do when you're prepping areas to mow for robot mowers. You're supposed to make sure that you're not mowing muddy areas. This is a muddy area I can't mow with the rider right now. It mowed right over it, no problem. It's nimble, it's light. It didn't get stuck in the mud. It mowed the grass. Awesome. You're supposed to mow sticks out of the way, or move sticks out of the way. I didn't move any of them. It dealt with all the sticks out here. What is so frustrating to me about robot mowers that I've used out here, and I've used quite a number, is that oftentimes they just can't do the job out here. You have to go rescue them. And that really stinks because I'll be at work, get a notification on my phone that a robot mower I'm using is stuck. And that means when I get home, I got to go find it, upright it. The battery's probably dead. I got to go plug it back into the charger. And that day of mowing was lost. So I've got one I've been testing out for a while now. It just can't seem to mow the whole area I've set it up to mow. It should be able to, but it keeps getting stuck and having charging problems and just, I don't know, man. I feel like I have to take care of everything for this mower. It's super high maintenance. It can't just go mow. This Luba just went out and mowed. There was one area that kind of gave it a little issue. So this is a weird little hillside that's full of rocks and sticks and stuff you got to go around at weird angles. It's just a really odd hillside. And there was a trench here that the dog dug. And it mowed over this somehow. And this is like ankle deep. Somehow it navigated this. I think the sensors saw that there was a low spot and told it, oh, don't fall in there. Well, what happened was it came in here and it got one wheel right over the edge of this and kind of stopped. And I think it was having problems with that super deep hole, which nothing can mow through that. My rider can't mow through that. So it got a little bit stuck and we just noticed it and we nudged it over with our foot and it went on its way. So can't fault it for that. It didn't shut down when I was at work, telling me it needed to be rescued. So when I came home every night, this whole place was mowed. Now, I told it to mow an area with actual mowable space of about 6/10 of an acre. It's a larger area than that, but 6/10 of an acre where it's actually mowing. So we excluded a lot of areas, garden beds and stuff. It mowed it all 2 or 3 times. I think it says it's supposed to mow an acre and a half. Now with robot mowers, I'm never sure. Does that acre and a half mean an acre and a half a day, a week, a month, or a year? I don't know. But it did 6/10 of an acre like 3 times in a week. And I didn't have it mowing at night. You can have this mow all day and all night. It doesn't care. But I didn't want it mowing at night for whatever reason. But if I did, that would double the area it could mow because I only allowed it to mow 8 hours a day. I don't like it mowing when I'm away and the dog's out, stuff like that. Mira, do not dig those flowers up. Anyway, I only had it mow when everybody was away from the house, just in case something weird happened. I'm going to test the obstacle avoidance on it, so it's probably really good, but I just want to be sure. So I only had it mowing 8 hours a day, and it covered that 6/10 of an acre 2 or 3 times. Part of the reason for that is the charger this thing uses. This is a super fast charging unit. So this mower will go out and mow for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, come back into the charger, recharge within an hour and a half, go out and mow again. So it was just always out mowing. I've got some mowers where they have to recharge for 4 hours. It really eats up your mowing time. So this thing, big old battery, fast charger, works awesome. Another thing I like about the charging on this is how it backs into the charger. And the charging port is kind of up and away. So if you're out mowing and you got a charging port on the bottom, it can get full of muck and dreck. If you've got a charger on the front that's a hole where it like goes, it's a female that goes into a male charger thing, it'll get full of mud and dreck and grossness and you got to clean it out all the time because you're moving forward when you're mowing. Even if it's on the front and on the top, I just see them start to get ooky. You got to clean them. Where this thing's at, inside of the rear end, kind of up high, means this thing's going to be way lower maintenance for charging. Just a really well thought out thing. Overall, this mower is just really well thought out. So I've been just really impressed with it. So going forward, I am now going to double or triple the mowing area it's set to do and see if it can do it all. And do some obstacle avoidance testing and see how that goes. So that's what we're going to do. Go find your ball. Stop harassing me. Ah! Find somebody else to harass. Where's your ball? You got a filthy face too. Go find it. Where's your ball? Find it.